Alright, so today we are going to be talking about why the bow is the best weapon to escape with when you are new to the game. So, I've been on this file for a little bit. It's still like my newest file, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to use Aspect of Zagreus, which has nothing unlocked, and I'm going to reset my mirror and do a few upgrades that I think it is likely that most people will have, and I will show you how to escape. So, a lot of your choices are completely up to you. I'll be neglecting probably the whole bottom four. Might put summon privilege status, but probably not. So, most of you almost certainly will have one Death Defiance, one Greater Reflex, hopefully all three of this, and all of this. I don't know if any of that is necessary either. Most of you probably have thick skin. I prefer high confidence, but for the purposes of this run, I will use thick skin. And I don't think that these bottom four are necessary to win the run. And so I'm going to show that you can do it without pretty easily with the bow. So the main advantage of the bow is you can be way out here and still be dealing pretty solid damage. The main thing is, what do you want on attack? Both Aphrodite and Artemis are solid options. I think I personally prefer Artemis in this case. I will be assuming you have keepsakes that might not be as leveled, but that's okay. It doesn't matter very much. I will be using keepsakes. They're very important. Okay, so we got Deadly Strike, which is what we want. Unfortunately, it is common, which is pretty unfortunate. Another option is we could take Hunter Dash, which is also like a really good choice for bow. However, overall, this crit chance is going to be the big winner. So the main thing to keep in mind is that your goal is to stay safe. As long as you are safe, even if you're not dealing damage very quickly, you're going to be okay. With the bow, dealing damage from a safe distance is very easy. And yes, even when you are super far away, dash striking is still superior to just normal attacks, just because of how much faster it charges. I use the bow a ton. It's probably overall my favorite weapon, and I still very rarely normal attack. Dash striking is just better. And if you struggle to consistently dash strike, one thing, a lot of people just don't think about the fact that you can rebind your controls to whatever you want. So it's more relevant on controller. I would highly recommend putting dash on one of the shoulder buttons, whether it be a bumper or a trigger, if you're playing on controller. The default controls, I believe, have attack, dash, cast, and special as your 4 face buttons. And I keep everything else on the face buttons, but dash definitely should be on a trigger. That way you can access it while doing those other actions. So, for instance, you can consistently and easily dash strike. Okay, so here we can take Aphrodite mini boss room, or we can take a mid shop. We do have enough to buy a boon, which is nice. However, Aphrodite is one of the gods that we most want, specifically because of the Heartrend duo boon. So we will take Aphrodite here. I would have, like, Poseidon would be an even better hit, because Poseidon Dash is fantastic for bow, but Aphrodite is great here. So, getting Life Affirmation this early in the run is pretty good. Passion Dash is not great, but it is a pretty easily applicable source of weak and would serve as a prerequisite for Heartrend, which is the main goal with taking Aphrodite. Heartbreak Flourish does mean that we can shotgun big enemies that are spawning, and also serves as a prereq for Heartrend, and it also means that we can still get Tidal Dash. So I'm going to take a special here. Nice. Okay, so here we have Sisyphus, who can give us some coin, or we have Chaos. Chaos is really, really good. Here we can get extra special damage, we can get extra attack damage, we can get dash strike damage. All of those are very applicable. We could also get boon rarity, which isn't great. Okay, so this getting extra special damage is great, but not being able to attack does really suck. Cast damage is negligible. Finding extra coin is nice. I would like to take this, so that special deals extra damage, but it's will be a lot slower and kind of a little bit undermines the purpose of this video, which is to show that bow attack is fantastic. I don't want to have to not use it for 3 chambers, especially because I believe likely to run into the boss. So I'm gonna take this one. So if you'll notice, one thing I'm doing when I'm dashing around is I'm positioning myself very purposefully. I am putting myself so that I can pierce enemies and hit multiple at a time, because bow has inherent pierce, and I am positioning myself so enemies can't easily hit me. So there's not much that I want from Ares. Battle Rage would be pretty good. We didn't get Battle Rage. So taking Blade Dash is not great. Ares' Aid is alright. It's not fantastic. I'd prefer a lot of other ones, but it's not bad. And then Blood Frenzy isn't really gonna help too much. I'm gonna take Ares' Aid. Okay, so here, this is the last chamber before the boss. We can go to a shop. We have quite a bit of money, or we can get a hammer. One of the reasons that I think bow is such a good weapon to start with is because it has amazing hammers. So, twin shot essentially doubles your attack damage. It means you have to be a little closer, but still overall it's amazing. Explosive shot, not my cup of tea. If it really messes with my rhythm personally, and it can be really good, especially if your second hammer is triple shot. Then you can shotgun with the attack and deal incredible amounts of damage, but I don't have that. And Relentless Volley is a lot better on Chiron aspect, or if you already have something like Charged Volley, it becomes a lot better. But right now I'm mostly using my attack, so I'm going to take Twin Shot. It's also just a really, really good hammer. So one of the important things to keep in mind when you're doing boss fights is to cast for the Boiling Blood bonus. So there, I wasn't able to get fully charged dash strikes just because I needed to dodge before the circle dealt damage, which means, you know, not quite as good damage, but overall better. So now Curse of Chaos has expired. That's why I was taking quite a bit of damage, but we're still very healthy going into Asphodel. So the next thing I want to do is get Splash Dash, and we get that with Poseidon Keepsake. So don't really need any of these. And I'm tempted to purge this. If we had got it at rare or epic, I would purge it here, just because the coin is good, even though we don't have, even though we already have so much. It's not like calls generally aren't great on bows anyway, because if you didn't know, calls, like you get your meter in the bottom left. Your god gauge fills based on the number of hits, not the amount of damage dealt. Unless you get a boon like Hunter Instinct from Artemis. I think that's actually the only one where that matters, and it only works in crits. Okay, so Eurydice is really, really good. I don't need more coin anyway, so we will definitely take Eurydice. So you get a choice between 3 things. What you want to take varies, but generally they're all pretty solid. They all have times when you want to take them. So always look at what you have. So currently, I have 3 boons, 2 of which are good, 1 of which is not great. Plum Porridge, no, Ambrosia Delight, sorry. If you have, like, I'm likely to get either my special or my attack rarity increased, which would be good. Getting Palms is also pretty solid. I only have 1 palm on my attack and only 1 on my special. However, palms don't really help with Artemis that much because the damage percent increase is so small anyway. So that won't do very much. Refreshing Nectar is also a very tempting take because it means if one of the next 3 boons I run into is Aphrodite or Artemis, I have an increased chance of getting Heartrend, which I very much want. It also means that when I encounter Poseidon, I'm more likely to get a higher rarity option, and I want Dash. So if I get Dash, it's more likely to be Rare or Epic, which is a pretty big damage increase. So I think I will actually take Refreshing Nectar here. If I had Aphrodite on attack, I would probably take Palm. But because Artemis scales so poorly with Palms, I will take Refreshing Nectar.
Sounds good. No problem.
So Hermes, what do we want from Hermes? I mean, Hyper Sprint's always good. If we end up getting Rush delivered from that, that'd be sweet. Okay, so Quick Favor is definitely not bad. Side Hustle is also pretty good. We're still pretty early in the game. We're gonna have like another like 40-ish, you know, like 30 chambers or so. So this is quite a bit of money. The thing is, I'm not very keen on this call. It's not great. So if this was something like Zeus call or Dionysus call, I would take Quick Favor. But here I will take Side Hustle. And now I know that I can just splurge. Oh, so this is a tough choice. If I take Aphrodite here, I'm very likely to get Heartrend, and that's really important. But so is getting Tidal Dash. And I think... Oh, this is a really tough choice. I think I'm gonna get trying to get Tidal Dash. But I feel like this could definitely go either way. Okay, so this is not a great room. One thing that a lot of people aren't aware, pretty much anything in this game that you can do that deals damage also will just completely destroy projectiles. So you can use that to clear yourself room. Yeah, that was bad. So that was really sloppy, but took care of it. Okay, so we got Rare Tidal Dash. That's exactly what we want. Okay, so now we can palm it as well, unless we get unlucky and hit everything else, but should be able to palm it, and that'll be really good. Okay. Doesn't matter. So again, just focusing on positioning. You can't be quite as safe with Twin Shot just because of the reduced range, but still thinking about positioning for Pierce if you can get it, or just how to avoid getting hit like that. Okay, so we have a ton of coins. We're going to take the shop, even though it is Artemis and could give us the duo that we want. It's more important to just get stuff. So we get another Poseidon. Getting Razor Shoals here is pretty solid. Wave Pounding is also good, seeing as we're going into Lernie. I will take Razor Shoals though, and I will try and palm... I'll palm this again, and I'll get some food, because I'm a little low on health, which will top me up perfectly going into the boss. So, with Lernie, they can have different heads, depends on if you've unlocked that in your game yet. But this one, he, I believe, will spit fire based on that head. So you can see we're doing like quite a bit of damage. Oh. So I'm mostly just using this for invulnerability, because I mean the damage is okay. I might have been hit by the first pound if I didn't use it there. That's one thing to keep in mind with calls. Even the ones that don't make you invulnerable still give you a handful of iframes when you activate it. Okay, so when you're trying to decide next keepsake to take, always look and see if there's anything you want. So we could take Aphrodite keepsake, which would mean that we are more likely to get the duo from Aphrodite because we have higher boon rarity there. And we very much want Heartrend here. But we already have a 50% chance of running into them. Though with Aphrodite, we could get Mirage Shot, which would suck. But I think in general, in Elysium, it's often best to take Acorn. Acorn is really good in Elysium because the boss fight often gives people a lot of trouble. Oh, this is great. So this is why you should always check this. Currently, I have a lot of money, obviously, and so I can definitely spend it on this. 30% more damage, definitely solid, especially considering this is only giving me 30%. And I don't have any other damage multipliers on it, so this is going to be a pretty big increase on my damage. And I will not purge that, even though it would be okay to do so. So again, we don't need more money. We have plenty, so we take Palm. Can probably Palm Rupture or Dash again. Okay. I think we don't really want to palm the special. Palming Dash is just more damage. It's solid. So Hammer or Hermes? Hermes is obviously like really good, but what could we get right now that would increase our damage as much as a hammer? Pretty much nothing. If we had gotten Hyper Sprint as our first Hermes boon, I would definitely take Hermes here, just for the chance of getting that. But we don't, so we will take Hammer. And there's quite a few things we could get here that we'd want. Point Blank Shot would be pretty good, especially because we have Twin. Piercing Volley is not very good if you don't have Charged Volley. Explosive Shot, again, would be messing with my rhythm. Point Blank Shot is pretty dang good. It's not the best, but if we can consistently hit this, there'll be a pretty sizable increase to our damage. So we definitely take that one here. So this is a Thanatos room. By Elysium, your damage should be good enough to beat Than most of the time, so just, even though there's a lot of enemies and it's, you know, more stressful because Than's here, focus on staying safe. Let him take care of the bigger guys. No problem with that. Okay, so what are our options? So, could take mid shop. We don't actually really want another Poseidon boon. There's not much that's great for us. Breaking Wave is pretty good. Doesn't help with bosses, though. We are more interested in getting Heartrend, so I would prefer to get one of those two gods as our thing. Okay, so I took this Ares boon, 1, because we have a lot of money, 2, because getting Battle Rage, which is if you kill an enemy, like your next attack and special deal a lot more damage, but which is pretty good with our build because we're mostly just doing a big chunky attack, but we don't have that. So Blood Frenzy means like at the final boss I deal more damage at the end. Like that's great. Slicing Shot means I can't do Boiling Blood bonus, which kind of sucks. Curse of Vengeance, small increase just around the board. Overall, this is probably best, but there's definitely an argument for this. I think I'll take this. No reason to not take the health with as much health as we have. I mean coin. And here, so I believe in this game, if you don't take a mini-boss room, you have like one more chance to take a mini-boss room, otherwise it's just gone. So with that in mind, I am going to take this boon, even though I would have preferred to see Aphrodite or Artemis, just for the better chance of getting Heartrend. I will take this, because mini-bosses tend to be better, and they better encounters, like they're faster, and they give better rewards. Main thing to keep in mind is just knowing the patterns. I'm not talking about that too much. If you don't know the patterns for certain enemies, just watch gameplay or just experiment around with it yourself. Okay, so if we take cast here, we stop getting offered the cast from anyone else. Because otherwise the cast is always going to be offered unless we roll. I'll explain like how they pick, like how the game picks what boons to offer in a different video. It's a little too complicated for now, but even though, you know, that cast doesn't really help, it does mean that rolling other things is easier. So with Patroclus, we have two choices. We can get this, which is more attack damage, which is very solid, or we can get consistent health gain, which is also really good. I think, seeing as we're a little low on health, but not too badly, I will take attack. I would take health if I was in this exact same position, if I had Aphrodite on attack instead of Artemis. But in this case, I take the attack. So, here we can take Trial, which is a hard room that gets us an Aphrodite boon that we don't really care about, and an Ares boon that might be Battle Rage. If we go here, we could get Breaking Wave, and it's an easier encounter. The most important thing is you cannot get any duos when you are like when it's a trial room. So even though it's not like Aphrodite and Artemis in the trial, this Aphrodite boon will still never offer me Heartrend, which means it's a lot less interesting to me because I'm not using my special without Heartrend. It's not worth it. So with that in mind, I will take this. Okay, so Flaming Chariots kind of suck here. Our attack is a lot shorter because we have double shot or twin shot, but it's still long enough to deal with them safely. You just gotta focus on making sure you're safe. Okay, well. So here the best choice would be to take Sweet Nectar. But, and Curse of Drowning is actually a little bit actively bad, just because it means you can't lodge your cast. And you know what? Yeah, I won't take it. I don't think it'll matter too much, but I will do its best, even though I would like to take this just because I need to take it at some point. I enjoy Curse of Drowning builds, so I'll just do one at some point. So I'll just take this one after. Okay, so Coin or Hermes, we don't need more coin again. So even though we don't necessarily want a Hermes boon too badly, we'll take it. So again, with the bow, you can prioritize safety. You don't have to get close. Oh, did not think that would reach far enough. That's on me. Okay, Second Wind. Yeah, that's really good. Second Wind is a fantastic boon. Yeah, there's not much more to say. It's just really, really good. Okay, so this is why it's always good to check. Hydrolite is pretty good. I have Lamia won't, like, this will end up applying to 6 chambers, and that's not great, so I won't take it. Dealing extra damage to armor, I very rarely take that one, honestly, so Palm or Shop, we have a ton of money, so we will go to Shop. So, I mean, again, here we can take this. Battle Rage is what we've been looking for. It's not great, but it's not bad. And just buy everything because we have plenty of coin, and getting more health is always nice. I would have, again, preferred to see Aphrodite or Artemis, but I guess this is showing that you don't even need to be lucky to win. Pretty easy fight. Again, just knowing the patterns and dealing damage safely is always the way to go. I didn't end up taking any damage, but that's because I had Acorn. So for keepsake for the final boss, Acorn is definitely an attractive option. Lucky Tooth is as well. And Broken Spear Point's like okay. Especially if you get hit by the lasers a lot. Or even like his like 1-2 swing. But I think I'm just going to keep Acorn on. Acorn's overall probably the best. So Yarn is pretty good if one of the mini-bosses offers one of these two, then more likely to get Heartrend. So I will take it. I don't need health, so I'm not taking either of those. None of these are worth even considering.
So close.
And it's not too bad to spend the 70 on Yarn because we still have Side Hustle and we're getting plenty of money. Okay, so we have an Aphrodite boon here, which means with Yarn it's fairly likely, and the fact that it's a mini-boss means it's pretty likely that we'll get Heartrend finally, which will mean we'll be able to deal a lot more damage. Okay, well we didn't get it, which is pretty sucky. I'm not going to use rerolls because I don't think those are available to most early players. So this will show what it's like when you don't really get what you want. Wave of Despair is not great. It's not necessarily bad though. Dying Lament is going to help more for these Styx rooms, but won't help as much on the boss. Wave of Despair will help with the boss. Am I more worried about the boss or the chambers? I'm definitely more worried about the boss. So I will take Wave of Despair. Always check these. This is good. If we get the Satyr Sack here, this will be in effect for the final boss. And this that we got from Patroclus a while ago is about to run out. So this will help with that. Okay, so we got the sack.
It's a special treat for Tartarus. Down the chute. Now I'll chat with Cerberus.
So now we will take this just for the chance at Heartrend again. Here we go. We finally got it. So for the final boss, we'll have it. Okay. So even though Hunter's Mark is pretty good, Clean Kill's okay. Heartrend is definitely the way to go here.
Let's go, team.
So now we will want to try and make sure that Weak is applied as well as Cast is lodged. So that will happen whenever we take damage. The whatever the name of that boon that we picked up recently from Aphrodite is called, that'll apply Weak. But if not, we can special.
Father.
Your heart.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He's right at the threshold. Okay. Either way, this is alright.
That's done it. I have something for you.
If you didn't know, you can stand right here and you're totally fine. But if you go even a little further out, you won't be fine. Alright. So pretty easy, didn't even have to use the Death Defiance.
Edge against me. Let's
And that is why I think bow is the best weapon
again.
to win the game with when you are struggling to win. Basically, you just keep your distance, you deal pretty good damage, you have a ton of good hammers. There's a lot of different ways you can build it. Like if you get charge volley, then you just make special your main thing and you just chill with that. If you don't, you just put either Aphrodite or Artemis on attack. If you put Aphrodite, I think overall it's worse. I think Artemis is the way to go, and then you can get Heartrend. Typically, no matter what you put on attack, you take the keepsake for it in Tartarus, and then in Asphodel you typically take Poseidon for dash, because even though Heartrend is important, it's not as important as Tidal Dash, even though that seems strange. Tidal Dash is really good. So, in conclusion, bow in Hades is all about playing it safe. You keep at a distance, deal your damage safely, and focus on dodging. As long as you're able to do that, you'll be fine. I think something that helps a lot if you are struggling with a particular boss is to look at the patterns that the boss uses and find the tells that work for you and the ways that you can dodge. If you are struggling with something like that, you can watch speedrunning gameplay or gameplay from any high-level player, especially someone that is doing challenge runs or really high heat runs. They are often very skilled and can show you strong patterns to avoid bosses. Finally, while I know a lot of people escaped with shield as their first weapon, I think a lot of that is because people rely on the blocking mechanic as a crutch. If that's how you escape your first time, when you try and use any other weapon, you're not going to have access to that crutch ability, and you're probably going to get hit by the patterns. It's better to learn the patterns with a ranged weapon like bow, where you can just focus on the tells and then dodge them, and then that way when you have any other weapon you're still able to see those tells and dodge, and you don't have to rely on the shield's blocking ability. And as a final point against shields, I think it's a lot harder to build well than bow. With bow, you basically just get Artemis attack and Poseidon dash, and that plus your hammers, hopefully on attack, can really just carry you. Shield is overall a lot more difficult to build for, especially considering base aspects. Base bow is solid, base shield feels really bad, and that's why a lot of players that enjoy shield enjoy specific aspects, because they all function very differently, and that's generally good for a weapon. But if you are looking for a weapon's ability to help a new player escape, bow is simply the way to go.